Greetings and salutations, I'm Calavide, I like to overthink things, and today we are continuing our saga over the overall timeline of I Expect You to Die. Today's subject choice being I Expect You to Die 2, The Spy and the Liar. Where we last left off, the agent had fallen from the sky and crash-landed before being recovered by the EOD, presumed dead by Zeraxis. Since we're telling the story as it happens chronologically, things are gonna get a wee bit funky. See, I Expect You to Die 2 actually has a flashback narrative, where Phoenix is currently in the final levels of the game reflecting on the week leading up to it. This really only displaces the tutorial, but I thought I should clarify it here before we jump into things. With all of that out of the way, our agent starts their new mission in a rather cozy office space.
I know this van isn't as luxurious as your old office, but we can't let Zeraxis know you survived your last mission. You've got a knack for putting a wrench in Dr. Zor's plans, so Zeraxis employees may not react kindly if they recognize you. On the bright side, now you've got a mini-fridge.
Ah, bribery, an EOD classic. At least this mini-fridge is already in the van, so we know the handler's good on this one. It seems to be implied that this game follows close after the first one, as Handler says the agent's last mission was the Death Engine, or at least implies it, but we can actually get a closer guess if we do some digging. If you look at the Z-mails on the Death Engine, we can see that Solaris sends a Z-mail asking what the hell is going on the ground on July 30th, likely referring to the events of Seat of Power. And the Death Engine is implied to have potentially happened on August 1st, as an automatic email was sent by Professor X-Ray, who is very dead at this point, saying that more juice was sent up to the Death Engine, perhaps even with the agent as a cargo shipment. At least that's my speculation. We also see on a clapboard that the final day of these missions is August 22nd, so there's about 2 weeks between the first and second games. Because let's be honest, there is no way the EOD would give the agent a year off. They don't have the budget for medical leave. As the agent settles into their new portable office, Handler informs them that he's quite sure that Zeraxis is up to something vile and nefarious, but the EOD isn't quite sure what. Whatever Zeraxis is planning, the Prime Minister certainly is not making himself any allies.
To confirm his stance on the new initiative by Zeraxis Defense, the Prime Minister of the Mediterranean Commonwealth has this to say.
I'll say it again. I don't trust Zeraxis. If they want to operate here, they'll have to get through me first.
Evidently, Zeraxis seems to be reaching out to the heads of state, but the respective heads have shown no interest in whatever the corporation is up to. It is here that the agent gets their first mission, Operation Stage Fright. But before we jump into that, I actually want to take a moment to talk about the agent's coolest new gadget, a radio. Well, the radio's not new, and they had a radio previously, but this radio is cool because it can tune to a Zeraxis station, which is kind of like having a station dedicated to Amazon. Here you can listen to a couple of ads, the aforementioned news report, and Zeraxis' own radio station, Zeraxis Presents. The radio show plays an interview between the host and the man of the hour, John Juniper. And he...
Oh yes, everyone always wants to know about the masks. Well, in order to do my best work, I need to become the character. Then, on day one of the shoot, I remove my mask, and I emerge as the character.
So, a bit like method acting then.
No.
Now, your family wasn't in show business, were they?
Show business? Oh, no, not since the accident. Kidding.
Yeah, this guy's a piece of work. But, what's that I hear?
No, they're very happy living their simple little lives out of the spotlight. I assume we don't really talk.
So, you wouldn't say that acting's in your blood then?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It was mostly natural talent that got me to where I am today.
Could that be daddy issues? Disappointing theater kid issues? Family disappointment that makes it so the void of being unlovable in the eyes who are supposed to love you unconditionally can never be filled by any attentions from strangers? Speculation, of course. Point being, Juniper seems like a grade A bastard, and we haven't even met the guy. Moving along, the handler informs us that the Prime Minister is attending a theater production in Manhattan that night, an event where he'll likely be isolated if Zoraxis wanted to spring a trap of sorts. At least, that's what Handler's instincts say, and like he says,
My instincts are only wrong about half the time.
Not only that, but the event is being hosted by the aforementioned John Juniper, a Hollywood star that the handler's just a bit of a fan of.
Oh, I'm such a fan. His performance in Marigolds Are Forever was so... excuse me.
I wouldn't know anything about that, as I have never idolized celebrities. Not non-fictional ones, anyway. So the agent drives their van out to the Juniper Theater, puts on a stagehand disguise, which would basically just be a black suit anyhow, and heads up to the rafters for their first mission since the Death Engine: protect the Prime Minister. As the agent settles in, their handler confirms that this place is crawling with Zoraxis operatives. He confirms that he has sights on the Prime Minister, and then drops a healthy helping of foreshadowing.
You know, for a man who could launch 50 nukes with the push of a button, he's much more grandfatherly than I expected.
But the agent isn't to worry themselves over that. They just need to figure out what Zoraxis is plotting and keep from blowing their cover. As they settle in, they slide into their headset and are welcomed by what seems to be the stage manager.
Attention stage crew, today's the big day. If anything goes wrong with my play, well, remember what happened to that sound designer.
Wait, what happened to Jerry?
Set the stage, everyone. I want an impeccable performance from all of you.
After an ominous threat that sounds like a missing persons case, the stage manager tells the agent that they're a stagehand and are to get the stage ready with instructions prepared on the clipboards she left for them. Though Handler comments that the voice sounds familiar, which is something you never want to hear in this field. The agent sets up the stage for John Juniper's one-man production of The Mask of Red Death, which is a choice, flips on the spotlight, and out walks Juniper. As Juniper delivers an opening speech, we get a very clear read on the beloved actor's personality. He's smarmy, cocky, and out of touch with the average person.
John, these tickets cost more than my yacht. This better be good.
He is just an all-around piece of work, but that's not the agent's concern. They just have to make sure the show goes off without a hitch. Or maybe with a hitch, actually. As Juniper wraps up his introduction, a massive mask with a nozzle hidden in its mouth descends from where it was suspended in the rafters. The agent and handler both realize that there is something deeply wrong. After more digging, the agent finds instructions on how to replace the gas canister in the mask with a can of butane gas. Using their quick thinking, they either remove the toxic gas canister and replace it with this highly combustible one, or they just jam the butane into the exit nozzle on the mask. Either way, it ends with a classic agent finish, a massive, fiery explosion.
This is not part of the show. Everybody run!
However, the day being saved and being done are not one and the same, as the stage manager drops the theater act and is revealed to be the fabricator.
Zoraxis employees, change of plan. Find whoever did this. I want them dead.
I knew that voice was familiar. Agent, she's a Zoraxis operative, known as the Fabricator. That is not an idle threat. Stay alive until I can get an evac team to you.
Now the agent has a new mission: survive! By using a combination of stage lights, prop rigs, and friendly fire, the agent manages to survive long enough to be extracted by an evac team and move out. Back at base, Handler confirms that the Prime Minister is safe, but that doesn't mean there's no cause for concern.
That stage manager, the Fabricator, well, she's a nasty piece of work, but she doesn't usually take center stage in Zoraxis plans. Very strange.
Unfortunately, there's no time to linger on such concerns as the agent's work is nowhere near done. The agent gets back to their van to some, well, not fantastic news.
But Prime Minister, Just yesterday, you said you didn't trust Zoraxis.
And I'm happy to eat my words. It's become clear to me that Zoraxis defense is exactly the partner the Mediterranean Commonwealth needs in these troubling times.
It seems that whatever happened to the Prime Minister during that explosion the agent caused may have spooked him into agreeing to work with Zoraxis. Could it be that Zor leveraged the attack and convinced the Prime Minister that he needed someone to protect him after the incident? Only time will tell. However, the handler's concern is quickly replaced with what sounds to be excitement.
Check your briefing. You're not going to believe this.
Upon firing up the mission briefing, we're told that the agent has a rather exciting, dare I say, luxurious mission ahead of them. John Juniper is a key witness to the theater attack, and as such, the EOD wants to ask him a few questions. Though Juniper does call out a valid concern, if this attack was an inside job, is it really safe to talk about this over the phone? And he's already on his way to Europe, so there's no way for the agent in Manhattan to catch him for an interrogation. Fortunately,
I've got an autonomous jet at JFK. If you send someone to the airport, they can come meet me.
Isn't the agent so lucky? With that, we're on to Operation Jet Set. Their mission is simple. Have a safe flight. Because the last time a mission was this simple, it went so well. The agent heads over to the JFK airport, hops onto the autonomous jet, and takes to the skies. Immediately we see that this jet is not just a quick transport vehicle, it is the height of luxury. Plush seats, a dining car, various booze and books, and just all around an air of gaudy, but refined. It's no wonder the handler is jealous.
It's not fair you're the only one who gets to meet John Juniper.
But we're not subjected to his complaints for long as the agent loses connection with him. But not to worry, because the agent's not alone.
Oh, were you on a different call? Sorry about that. Unregistered signals tend to cut out at these altitudes. I can keep you company till you get here, though.
That would be John Juniper, who informs the agent that his butler, Gibson, is going to pick them up from the airport and encourages the agent to help themselves to the luxuries of the jet, like the poisoned food, explosive cigars, and, well, regular booze. Yeah, it becomes quite evident that this isn't the jet-set trip that the agent was promised, so much as it's a mousetrap covered in Swarovski crystals. The second the agent tries to get a snack from the food cart, lethal lasers shoot at the agent from all around the jet. This abrupt trip of the very aggressive alarms requires a moment of reflection from the agent. But they could also come up with an explosive solution with the use of the firecracker cigars if they so choose. The entire time, Juniper is zero help.
Bad news. I can't shut off the lasers from here. You're a spy, though, so you can just disarm them or something, right? Like, whenever I play a spy, that's the sort of thing I do. See? Look at you. You didn't need my help anyway.
Thank you, Juniper. You're my hero. It's important to note that it's heavily implied some aspects of this jet were built by the fabricator. At least the snack cart attached to the lasers and a puzzle essential mask. Whatever Juniper is up to, he's working with some of Zoraxis' elite. The jet's facade all but dropped, the agent goes from kicking back and relaxing to poking and prodding around the jet, discovering hidden flight controls that show their destination is a Zoraxis airbase, emergency supplies, and most damningly, a signal blocker. Well, that explains why Handler got cut off. The agent quickly reestablishes a connection with their handler, who is very concerned about their travel plans.
Wait, you're heading to a Zoraxis airbase? I don't like the sound of that. I just got you clearance at the agency airport in Lisbon. You're welcome.
Thank God for Handler. Only a slight problem, Juniper's mask is finally starting to crack and reveal the very dangerous man underneath.
What? How did... Sorry, Agent. This plan's been years in the making. I am not letting you off this plane. Plan B. Launch the missile.
That's really bad. Even worse, the self-defense measures on the jet have been sabotaged. But thankfully, Handler has a plan. The jet's manual is actually in the EOD database, and he'll be able to tell the agent how to repair the jet from the inside out. With some hasty instruction, the agent manages to fix the self-defense mechanisms in the plane, ripping the place apart in the process.
Come on, Agent. You're trapped on a plane above the Atlantic Ocean. There's nowhere to run. Just die already. What the
Juniper puts together that the only way the agent could have accomplished such a feat is if they were the same one that died on the death engine.
There's only one agent who could have pulled that off, and they died on the death engine! Unless... Gibson, get Zor on the phone. I believe a pesky phoenix has risen from the ashes.
Well, it went better than the last time the agent was on a luxury trip. At least nobody other than them almost died this time. And of course, the handler is worried for all the right reasons.
Agent, I don't know what to... I mean, Juniper. John Juniper tried to kill you. Oh, for the love of... He's nothing sacred.
Feeling the love over here, buddy. But the agent lands at the Lisbon EOD base, hops in their van, and braces for another briefing. Unfortunately, it sounds like whatever Zoraxis is up to, they're getting a lot of very powerful international support, as the president of the South Atlantic Union has also turned to Zoraxis.
This just in a surprising reversal of a strong isolationist stance, the president of the South Atlantic Union has just announced a formal partnership with Zoraxis Defense. Zoraxis has earned my trust. The South Atlantic Union will support Zoraxis Defense in all of its upcoming initiatives.
But the strange mystery is how Juniper is involved in it all. He's an A-list actor, working with what's essentially a shadow terrorist organization fronting as a mega-corporation, which is a bizarre addition to his portfolio. Wanting to get to the bottom of this, it seems the agent needs to investigate the other major player in this mission, the Fabricator.
As you saw at the theater, she builds, well, call them luxury death traps for Zoraxis.
Something to note is that for the first time, the agent's handler is going to be physically there with them on this mission, stood on the roof that the agent is dropping in from. An interesting change for management not allowing him to go on the jet, nor any mission before, really. So, the agent and their handler both head out to the Fabricator's workshop in Barcelona, hoping that the agent won't be the inspiration for the Fabricator's next art piece, with their next mission, Operation Eavesdrop. Their assignment? Discover Juniper's plan. The duo arrive at the workshop to the heart-racing reveal that the Fabricator is still in the building, but thankfully for all involved, she seems to be on her way out, leaving the agent and handler free to raid the office. Immediately upon entry, it becomes clear just how smart and how paranoid the Fabricator is. Her workshop is covered in lasers, with the only solution being one that depends on the agent finessing a weighted decoration off of a pedestal behind the lasers and propping it on its respective matching hand on the second floor of the laboratory. And that's the first trap. I can't help but wonder how the Fabricator gets into her workshop after locking up. Probably some sort of hidden on-off switch, I would hope. But the agent's cautious finessing hardly seems to be a bother to the handler as he tosses down the flashlight without a care in the world. Everyone wants to get the agent killed, I swear. But, panic and laser traps aside, the agent finally gets to lower themselves into the Fabricator's workshop. The agent slowly but steadily gets to work, unlocking secret mechanisms, cutting tripwires, and using hidden keys to invade every inch of the Fabricator's desk. As they do so, they discover a collection of concerning materials. First is a clipboard with listed mimic mask targets, all of which being the heads of state. The same heads of state who have profiles listed out on a nearby chalkboard detailing when they would be most vulnerable. On the backside of this chalkboard's kidnapping checklist is a sketched out diagram of the aforementioned mimic mask with a collection of disconcerting notes. On one side of the board is a list of security tests designed to eliminate someone wearing or tampering with the mask. The ultimate end protocol for someone doing something they shouldn't being electrocution. Then around the other side of the chalkboard are notes explaining how to safely disassemble the mask and warning that leaving the security chip and battery in will lead the agent to a rather toasty fate. While all of this is concerning, it doesn't even answer half the story of why Juniper is working for Zoraxis. But Juniper's story is mostly held not in documents and papers, but rather tapes. While looking around the desk, the agent can find up to 6 tapes, which are recordings the Fabricator has made of her ends of various phone calls and interactions she has had. Rather than going through all these tapes as the agent finds them, I'm just going to run through all of them now.
Oh yes, we're still on schedule. Oh no, Juniper and I just have a few, artistic differences.
Oh
yes. There's an electrical override system that should work as an anti-tamper device. Not to mention a little insurance if Juniper gets any ideas.
This recording is implied to be a conversation between the Fabricator and Dr. Zor, the Doctor checking the Fabricator's status with her work, and the Fabricator keeping things just professional enough to not start actively complaining about Juniper. What I find interesting is that the next thing the Fabricator talks about is the mask's aforementioned electric anti-tampering device, closely followed with it being reassurance if Juniper gets any ideas. While this sounds like a passing tail-end comment of Fabricator letting some contempt through, I don't think that's all there is to it. The Fabricator bringing it up after the pause means Zor asked about it. It's almost as if the conversation went something like, Juniper and I have artistic differences. And if those artistic differences get in the way, you have a way to deal with him. Oh yes, the mask has an anti-tampering device that will also take care of Juniper in that case.
Yes, Juniper's quite the little rising star, isn't he? Oh, I know, darling, it just isn't fair. Yes, but now you have time for new projects. Oh, yes. Well, I'm sure that whoever they were, they didn't survive re-entry. Oh, you're not the only one. If that agent was alive, Zor would be very keen on laying hands on them. I don't know. Didn't say why. Yes, well, if that agent stumbles across my path, I'll be sure to save them for you.
This recording seems to be a conversation between the Fabricator and Solaris, inventor of the death engine from the last game. Two people we know have interactions with each other because of the former throwing shade about the latter in some of her notes. I suspect this is Solaris and not any other operative, as whoever's on the other end of the line sounds furious that the agent has destroyed a large project of theirs and doesn't seem satisfied at the prospect of working on something new. This was their magnum opus, and the mentioning of a crash only further serves to tie it to the death engine, as, well, we know how that level ended. The only other person distinctly tied to the death engine is Zor, who gets mentioned as a third party in this call later. This does a lot to establish the Fabricator and Solaris as sort of frenemies? Co-workers at least, but with a healthy dose of gossip to get through the day.
Yes, if you just... Right, you've got it. Perfect. And if you press right there, the mimic mask will seal to your face. Yes, good. How's the fit?
A little tight on the jaw. And to turn it on, I just,
like this, right? And... Oh, my goodness.
Say it.
Yes, fine. It's perfect. I look exactly like the Prime Minister. This is amazing. You even got the wrinkles right.
Well, of course I did. Now, can you give me a quick frown? Now a smile. Raise your eyebrows for me. Mouth open, now close. Yeah. I think I've got a few more tweaks I'd like to make.
Right. When you're done,
send the mask to New York. I'm looking forward to using it in the field.
The first tape that contains the voice of someone other than the Fabricator. The Fabricator and John Juniper are clearly doing a test run of the mask's latest setting, the Prime Minister. Clearly, even if Juniper's a bit of a blowhard, he's willing to acknowledge when someone's work is good. After all, the pair get along like cats in your local bird population, and they're being amicable enough. However, here we also get a certain touch of foreshadowing. The mask seals to Juniper's face, and it's tight on the jaw. This in tandem with the first tape and the chalkboard in the Fabricator's office seeming to imply that Juniper can't take this mask off easily, it's designed to kill as a security measure. And the Fabricator is already thinking of how to get rid of Juniper in the worst case scenario. If Juniper goes rogue, he's getting fried. The two do a bit of calibration. The Fabricator decides what changes she wants to make, and Juniper gives it back, excited to use it in the field. He thinks he's so cool, it's sickening.
Yes, hello, John. About your plan. No, John, it's a plan. I'm not going to call it a script. Well, because that's a stupid thing to call it, that's why. Okay, I'm going to call you back when you've calmed down.
This one's short and sweet, showing more of Juniper's strange idiosyncrasies. We also see some implied anger issues and get a look of how little the Fabricator respects him as a person and an operative. We actually first get a glimpse of these sort of sentiments in an earlier level, as Jet Set also has a set of messages from the Fabricator left for Juniper.
Well, the theater operation certainly didn't go as planned, did it? Not to quibble, but I did warn you about outside interference. Hello, John. Remember how you said you didn't want to go with red? Well, I like it better. So red it is. Ta-ta.
Hello, Mr. Juniper again. Me. I got your message loud and clear. We shall have the Antarctic oysters ready for you.
It seems that Mr. Juniper has a temper, and the Fabricator could not care less. Good on her, honestly. That man needs to be humbled.
Yes, for something like that, I'd recommend a briefcase. Classic, stylish, easy to transport. Oh, yes, I think so too. So, who's going to get the nuclear codes? Juniper? The actor? Really? No, please, Doctor, tell me more.
It seems that the Fabricator is talking to Dr. Zor in this recording, giving a friendly recommendation for some sort of mystery project. Here we see that the Fabricator is very comfortable with Zor. I would dare say they're chummy. We also find out that the Fabricator has been working with Zor for a long time, as it seems Zor is the one who suggested they work with John Juniper. If Juniper's been at Zoraxis for years, and the Fabricator is this friendly with Zor at this point, she likely has been at Zoraxis for ages.
Why is it always masks with you? It's hard. Yes, fine. Oh, you know what? That actually gives me a delicious idea. How do you feel about poison gas?
Here the Fabricator is clearly talking to Juniper, as she makes fun of his masks immediately. She seems annoyed by him, but trying to roll with his oddities and plotting to make what seems to be the Mask of Red Death. After all, that entailed a mask dropping down and releasing a poison gas onto the audience. At least it would have if it all went according to plan. Now that you have the unofficial audio file achievement, let's get back to the level, huh? In addition to the tapes, the agent finds many other things that help fit together a story of what exactly is going on with this Zoraxis plot. Firstly, they find classified files on some of the heads of state, namely the Chancellor, the President, and the Prime Minister, but not the Premier, likely due to him being the last one to be apprehended. The Premier is currently being lured out to a party that Juniper seems to be hosting, as an RSVP to a soiree can also be found. Attached to this invite is a note from Juniper to the Fabricator. F. Don't worry, the briefcase is safe. Meet me at the soiree and bring the new mask. J. It seems that wherever this party is, we'll find Juniper and the briefcase there. Our speculation about why the Premier doesn't have a file gets further confirmed by finding a diagram the Fabricator made to figure out what changes she needs to make to the Mimic Mask, as well as reminders on the back for Juniper. 1. Mask only changes appearance while worn. 2. Speak normally. The mask will mimic the leader's voice. 3. Be careful when opening. Security system is a bit fiddly. Juniper could probably use these. Oh well. The last thing of note is, well, a note. A note written by the Fabricator if the logo's to be believed. The agent gets confirmation that there is one leader left, this soiree is being hosted by Juniper, and they get information on what the briefcase is.
Oh no. He's impersonating heads of state to get to their nuclear codes.
Suddenly, those files from earlier are much more ominous. They likely weren't personnel files, but rather files that stored the nuclear codes that they got from each head of state. The reason the Premier doesn't have a file in the Fabricator's desk is he hasn't been apprehended by Zoraxis yet. More searching, and they discover that the Mimic Mask is actually here, the very tool that Juniper has been using to impersonate the heads of state. Not only that, but it automatically opens up for us upon getting pulled out of its hiding spot. How convenient! Not wanting to waste this ample opportunity.
Agent, take this tracking device. Can you hide it away in that mask somewhere?
I can't think of anything better to do myself. Between the chalkboard and the notes left for Juniper, the agent is able to safely disassemble the Mimic Mask and hide the tracking chip inside of it, reassembling the mask and getting ready to leave. Time to go.
To do is...
I think I heard something. I gotta go check it out.
Well, that's a problem. Using some quick thinking, the agent throws on the mask and uses the audio system in place to trick the guard into thinking they are the fabricator. Or they throw poison at the guard. Or shoot him with the bear archer. Honestly, you can scare him off in a few ways. Assuming that those latter two don't just kill him. With that, the agent leaves rather hastily, and the mission has now changed. No longer does the agent wonder what Juniper is doing. Now their mission is to stop him before he can use the nuclear codes for harm. Heading back to the van, things only seem to grow more pressing as the Pacific League also swore allegiance to Zoraxis.
Yes, I think it's a marvelous idea. The Pacific League supports Zoraxis' defense 100%.
With the Chancellor of the Pacific League's announcement earlier this morning, 3 of the 4 major world powers have joined Zoraxis' defense on a major international project. In fact, we've been hearing the rumors of a peace summit later this week. This leaves only the Hudson Federation holding out against Zoraxis' push into global diplomacy.
While it was implied that the Premier was the only head of state left, this confirms it. The heads of state have almost entirely been taken captive, and the Premier is on the chopping block next. The agent needs to hurry, there's not much time left. It seems Juniper's little soiree is held in a castle in the Alps, and Juniper's there. The nuclear codes likely are too. Super easy, just casually go to Juniper's party and ask nicely for the briefcase. Yeah, no, we're crashing this thing. It's time for Operation Party Crashers, where the agent's job is to get in, steal the nuclear briefcase, and get out. The agent immediately makes a beeline to the chateau, likely sneaking in with the RSVP the EOD intercepted before heading down to the wine cellar. Not with ease, however.
When you get back, you should get that eye looked at. That butler has a nasty left hook. Well, he can sleep it off in that box.
Seems the agent's a little scrappy themselves. Then again, who could blame them? However, barely 5 seconds into settling into their newly fake career, Juniper has demands.
Hey, you. Tell Gibson to send that bottle I've been saving to the ballroom, and tell him not to forget the glasses.
What a classy guy. You just know he's a terrible tipper with that attitude. Something that I think is pretty neat, though, is that if you're, say, speedrunning or simply replaying this level, you can actually send the wine and the glasses up before Juniper requests them, and you get a special little line.
Gibson, you're a mind reader. Absolute godsend.
I think it's neat when games reward you for replaying them and knowing what to do ahead of time rather than holding you hostage. Regardless of that, the agent sends up the wine and the glasses, and Juniper suddenly realizes that this is not just a party for him to have fun at, asking Gibson to send up his new mask and sending down a key. It seems the mimic mask is in the wine cellar somewhere. Why Juniper chose to store it there, I'm not sure. Maybe it's something to do with his butler? Who knows? After some sleuthing, the agent finds the mimic mask alongside a collection of other masks and smoke grenades. Though tensions seem to be on the rise with the Zoraxis operatives as the fabricator questions throwing a victory party after her workshop had been ransacked. Who would dare? But Juniper seems generally unconcerned, just wanting to enjoy his party and quite confident that there is nothing to worry about. Though the fabricator does mention the Phoenix by name, telling him that Zora's going to be displeased if it's Juniper's elusive agent. Apparently, not only Juniper is aware of the Phoenix, as he called them, all of Zoraxis seems to be picking up on the name. Which is not a problem at all. After sending up the mimic mask, Juniper slips into the Premier's skin and starts to entertain the party, keeping up the facade that the Premier is safe and all but confirming that Zoraxis has kidnapped him at this point. Now the only issue the agent has is getting the briefcase back from Juniper. Well, that and the fact that the butler they knocked out is now waking up.
You out there! Release me this instant, you scoundrel! Mr. Juniper? Anyone? Help me! It's the Phoenix! The Phoenix is in the wine cellar!
Phoenix again! That's totally not a problem whatsoever. Fortunately, nobody is down in the wine cellar to hear Gibson's cries, and the agent is able to do what they do best. No, not blowing things up, snooping. By digging around and using a mask the fabricators seem to have crafted specially for Juniper, the agent is able to find a secret passage that's been bricked up and some sort of large security control board that's connected to the rest of the chateau. The agent uses the security controls to ruin the party, first by setting off the alarms, then turning on a downpour of sprinkler water, and ultimately getting people to take them seriously by activating security landmines. I'm sorry, who needs that? Not only who needs that, but it seems that the Zoraxis security isn't even aware of these measures, because everyone is horrified at the state of the estate. So much so that Juniper cancels the party and sends everybody out. Except the jazz band, because screw those guys, I need my tunes. Unfortunately, despite the fact that security assumes that this damage can only be caused by 6 to 8 people, the agent is still only one agent. So Handler gives them a delightful suggestion to even the odds, if you will. Using the map, the agent uses a toxic gas system to whittle down the security team from 6 to 3, and then the security team is suddenly very well aware of their dwindling numbers.
Maybe we should consider surrendering.
They can't have the briefcase!
Yeah, that's not happening. Fortunately, the agent's pretend position as the butler worked. Juniper, not wanting to risk the agency getting the briefcase, sending it right into the agent's hands with clear instructions to not let the agents get their hands on it. Yes, sir, Juniper, sir. Unfortunately, the agent just gets their hands on the briefcase when Gibson's backup arrives, not only in the form of guards, but also John Juniper himself. While the agent has locked and barred the door, and their little stunt to whittle down the number of guards earlier meant there wasn't enough gas in the tanks to weaponize it against the agent, Juniper's willingness to kill the agent with an airborne toxin is not something his butler takes kindly to.
Wait, I'm still in here.
But what about Gibbs? That's an order.
Mr. Juniper, all the work I've done for you for decades, does this really mean nothing to you?
It's nothing personal.
Nothing personal? I'll give you nothing personal. Agent Phoenix, the heads of state are still alive. They're in...
Be quiet!
Make me, you puffed-up, self-important reprobate.
How dare you, you insufferable two-bit weasel!
These two are petty, and I kind of live for it. This entire confrontation is a chaotic, comedic mess, with the agent being a general menace to Juniper the whole while.
Agent right there! Are you wearing one of my masks? Oh, run for it! You tossed a grenade, then you shut the hatch! Honestly, how did any of you survive hostility training?
Well, there goes the study.
I love infuriating Juniper. It's just too damn fun. With the new information under their belt and a grenade oh so generously supplied by the Zoraxis grunts, the agent clears out the passageway and escapes with the nuclear codes in tow. As the agent makes their way back to their van, their handler chimes in that the agency needs to look into that briefcase. After all, if what Gibson said was true, that means the agency needs to figure out where the heads of state are being held. The agent returns to their van and settles down, radioing their handler that they've got the briefcase.
Agent, do you still have the briefcase? Good, good. We need to get it to headquarters.
That doesn't sound quite right. The radio also has rather disconcerting news, as it is announced that the premier of the Hudson Federation is also working with Zoraxis.
Breaking news. The Premier of the Hudson Federation has just released a statement of cooperation with Zoraxis, bringing the last major world power into a partnership with the company's diplomatic branch, Zoraxis Defense.
The time to act is now. We can't afford to wait on these issues any longer.
With this unprecedented global alliance, one has to wonder what Zoraxis has planned.
The oddities continue with the mission assignment as the handler sounds agitated? Infuriated. Odd.
All you need to do is bring the briefcase and a sealed document to the head of that office. Nice and simple.
At this point, alarm bells may be going off for you. I know they were for me. And those bells turn to sirens as a canister of gas drops. The agent is knocked unconscious, and we are left in the dark. As the smoke clears, the agent finds themselves awakening in an EOD hospital room, but something is off.
Agent, can you hear me? Now, don't worry, the briefcase is safe. Do you remember what happened?
This level is actually the tutorial of the game, happening before even the opening sequence. As such, the agent has no memory of any briefcase or what was going on, and Handler says the agent's memory must be fuzzy from the attack. On the table in front of the agent is a tape labeled Enhanced Operatives Exam. The Handler instructs the agent to load it into the projector before following the prompts. The exam is relatively simple, just practice with the TK implant, hovering and searching the medical office to find 3 explosives and detonating them in a bomb disposal device. The entire time, the Handler's delivery just sounds slightly off. There's a grit to his voice and a cadence to his tone that's not quite right.
Good, your telekinesis is still working. Good, good. Yes, exactly. How very cunning of you, Agent. I don't think there was a bomb in there, Agent. Your diligence has been duly noted. Having fun. For your sake, I'll leave no mention of this in my final report.
Not only that, but some of the phrases he says are similar to what he said over the radio in Jet Set. Uncannily so.
You've got it. You've got it. Yes, exactly. Me. Yes, exactly. Good. Good.
Not only that, but as he has the agent run through the recalibration of their chip, he seems, well, too proud, for lack of a better term? The Handler would never praise the agent for using their telekinesis at this point, nor would he deliberately leave embarrassing information about their execution of a mission off the record. He kind of seems to revel in the agent's humiliation. Lovingly. And yet now he's doing both of these things. Something that's not only generally out of character, but deeply suspicious. Not only is all of that strange, but when looking around the desk for an explosive, the agent finds a blueprint for a laser cage patented by the fabricator. Between all of this and the explosives being Zorax's property, it becomes clear rather quickly that this isn't the Handler. This is John Juniper with a mimic mask of the Handler. However, by the time the agent puts all of this together, the bomb disposal device detonates the last explosive and everything fades to black.
Don't worry, Agent. I've got everything under control.
The agent reawakens in the same medical room with a meal set in front of them and what's frankly a mocking tone from the Handler.
Oh, good, you're awake. Care for something to eat? We're still looking over this marvelous briefcase you found.
We also see that the bomb disposal device has moved to the corner, implying that this is the same location and not a recreation of an EOD med ward that Zoraxis got intel on. As the agent reorients themselves, it only becomes more and more clear that this isn't the Handler.
Don't do that, Agent. You might hurt yourself.
This is far, far too gentle and caring for the Handler, who likely would say something more along the lines of, "Just so you know, that's coming out of your paycheck." Not having the time nor patience for this ruse any longer, the agent takes the knife off of the table and cracks open a drawer that was tied shut before taking the lighter and committing their favorite hobby: arson! The second the agent sets fire to the EOD logo, it falls and reveals the shine of a camera lens before the facade fully drops.
Oh, don't get any ideas. You're not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, you and I are going to have a little chat.
Juniper watches down on the agent, mockingly gloating about his mimicry of their Handler before going into a villainous monologue. After that riveting performance, Juniper calls lights, camera, and action, setting off multiple traps at once before sauntering off, mimic mask and a briefcase in tow. However, the threat of death has never stopped Agent Phoenix before, and they quickly disable both traps and get in contact with their Handler.
Agent! Finally! I've been trying to reach you for hours. It's me, I promise. Let's see. Your favorite color is, you'll just have to trust me on this.
With some creative light work and probably some sort of felony, I don't think you're supposed to point laser pointers in the sky. The Handler tracks them down and recovers the agent. Not only does the Handler recover them, but frankly, he's more annoyed that Juniper impersonated him than he is that Phoenix got kidnapped.
Juniper's got some nerve thinking he could impersonate me. You're lucky my tracking skills are still up to snuff.
Still, Juniper's now got that briefcase, and their window of time to stop him is rapidly closing. As the agent gets to their van, the handler informs them that there's a global broadcast that will have all 4 heads of state making an announcement.
This just in. All 4 heads of state are planning a joint announcement from the headquarters of Zoraxis Defense in 15 minutes. Stay tuned as we and the world learn what they've been planning with Zoraxis.
Needless to say, the clock is ticking. Juniper's taken the briefcase to a Zoraxis headquarters stationed on an island in the middle of the Black Sea. Juniper's going to masquerade as the heads of state from there and show off his final grand plan. Zoraxis will launch their Operation Peacekeeper, launching nukes around the world to establish a hostile takeover of all world governments. John Juniper is the face of it all. The agent has to get into the headquarters and try to stop Juniper before it's too late. Their mission? To save the world.
Well, if anyone can pull this off, it's you, Agent. Agent Phoenix.
The agent jets out to the Zoraxis headquarters and steps into absolute chaos. Knocked over lamps, cards scattered about, alarms blaring. It seems like Zoraxis is about to raise hell and take this base down with it as employees evacuate the building, Juniper approaching the end of his broadcast.
The Zoraxis employees are evacuating the building. Juniper must be getting ready to launch the nuclear missiles. Get to the top of the tower.
No pressure. With some quick deduction, the agent finds the elevator punch card that will take them up to floor 32, where Juniper is currently putting on a show. However, not without issue.
What the heck are you doing? Nobody's supposed to be in that elevator. Go turn on the cable saw.
Well, that was a close call. But what was that they said about a cable saw? It's probably fine. What's less fine is the hole shot through the elevator's control panel, which the agent needs to fix. A task that is not made easier by the canister of napalm hidden in the control panel, nor the battery of the elevator quite literally exploding. Oh, well, at least the agent's used to arson at this point. If nothing else, the elevator getting shorted was shown to be a net positive, as the elevator drops a few feet and reveals that the heads of state are in fact alive. They're just being held in this Zoraxis facility that's set to explode, and their cells are directly under the missile thrusters of what one can only assume is a nuke. That's horrifying. Fortunately, the agent is here to save the day, flipping the cell's power off and releasing each head of state, who flee the building with the Zoraxis personnel, presumably. However, the elevator is still toast. Fortunately, the agent finds an emergency battery tucked away in a closet, and a lovely generator all but falls from the heavens. It's the cable saw. The cable saw descends from the heavens. But Zoraxis' attempts to kill the agent are beneficial this time, as the cable saw has enough energy to siphon that the second the battery is hooked up to the elevator, it continues its ascent.
Fortunately for you, I'm afraid that this isn't a piece, and I'm not the premier. Courtesy of yours truly, the world's greatest actor. The world's governments are, as of this moment, under new management. Ha! You look like you don't believe me. Well, let me make it easier for you. Your previous heads of state have very generously handed over their nuclear codes. So I'm gonna launch a couple nukes, just to show you we're serious. What? Sorry, folks. I need to deal with some technical difficulties.
Jesus! With their life on the line, the agent manages to finesse their way around the gunshots and spots a power box connected to the catwalk Juniper is stood on. Acting fast, they flip the lever and cut the power to the catwalk, which retracts and sends Juniper falling, the nuclear briefcase dropping from his hand and giving the agent an opportunity to snatch it away from him. Juniper pleads with the agent for his life, swinging, struggling, bargaining for them to save him, to the point that they even throw Zor under the bus. He tells the agent that he knows Dr. Zor's identity, that there's nothing Zor can do to keep him from sharing his information. But for all of his pleading with the agent, he doesn't play his cards right.
Mr. Juniper, you were never running the show.
Fabricator,
if you would.
Bye-bye, John.
What? Wait! Doctor,
What a disappointment. Your move, Agent.
Shocked, left with nothing but a timer with 10 minutes on the clock and the sinking feeling of watching Juniper's death, Agent Phoenix opens the briefcase. Inside, there are 3 codes to crack: encryption, targeting, and confirmation. Carefully, the agent takes one of the sectors and cautiously disables the restrictions, but the pressure mounts as the timer suddenly cuts in half, regardless of how quick Agent Phoenix is. The agent turns to the next sector, disassembling the briefcase and undoing another set of restrictions and being helpless to stop as Zor cuts the time in half once more. 2 minutes. As they round on the last sector of the briefcase, they watch as all of the once red lights turn blue the second the last piece slots into place, the briefcase asking the agent if they wish to abort the launch. But it's not done. The briefcase is low on power, and they can't complete the connection. 45 seconds. A panel slides open, revealing 2 electric terminals, and there's only one thing that can power it. The battery that's keeping the elevator turned on.
But Agent, without power, you'll fall to your death!
This isn't the first time the agent's faced a fall. And besides, as they say, the best of the best still die like the rest. Agent Phoenix connects the battery to the briefcase and disarms the nukes, aborting the launch and sending the headquarters into a self-destruct sequence. Zor gives the agent one parting message.
I see. If you survive this, Agent, I shall be in touch.
And with that, the Phoenix burns, the elevator rocketing down through the burning building as the HQ goes up in flames and explodes. But what other way would this agent go out? The credits roll, and we hear one last radio broadcast.
In a move that shocked the world, the international conglomerate Zoraxis has been implicated in a conspiracy to seize control of the major world governments. This unthinkable plot was unveiled by none other than internationally acclaimed actor Juniper in a broadcast to the world last night. In a joint announcement, the kidnapped heads of state have issued a chilling response. Absolutely despicable. The fact that they've been able to operate in public, right under our noses, is appalling.
Yes. Mark what we say here today. This vicious, contemptible attack will not go unanswered.
As we speak, governments around the world are mobilizing to respond to this international threat. We can only guess what Zoraxis...
The agent, as of the end of I Expect You to Die 2, is missing in action. No body being found and no indicator of their survival.
To the Illustrated Agency Board of Directors, from Agent Supervisor, him. This is my final report on the Juniper incident. Zoraxis Defense Headquarters was destroyed in an enormous blast. Agent Phoenix... well, we haven't found a body yet. If they did survive. Right before they disarmed the warheads, Dr. Zor addressed the agent directly. If Zor's taken a personal interest, well, to be plain, it is my strong recommendation that we prepare for direct engagement. Zoraxis cannot operate in the dark anymore. Zor's strategy is already changing.
With that, I Expect You to Die 2 comes to a close with a massive, explosive bang. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like to overthink things, please spill your brains in my comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. We're on to the last part of the series. Until next time, agents!